With this in mind, let us now move forward with our first speaker for today's lecture. He's an esteemed associate professor at Isra University in Gaza, Palestine, specializing in translation and interpreting studies and applied linguistics. He currently serves as a postdoctoral research fellow at Hashim Sani Center for Palestine Studies, University of Malaya in Malaysia. With over 15 years of academic experience, he has been a keynote speaker and presenter at more than 40 international conferences and events. He has published numerous scientific papers and book chapters globally and serves on the editorial boards of several scientific journals worldwide. He is also the founder and CEO of the Asian Federation of Translators and Interpreters in Malaysia. His research interests include applied linguistics, translation, and Palestine studies. With his wealth of knowledge and strong commitment to advancing the role of linguistics in society, we are certain that his lecture for today will be both enlightening and thought-provoking. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce to you Dr. Mohammed H. Al-Aqad, discussing applied linguistics research, solving real-world language challenges. A round of applause, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Magnite. And also, I would like to extend my thanks and appreciation to Young Berbahagia, Prof. Sajid, and to everyone who are behind this organizing this great event. And it's really wonderful. I can see a lot of students and a lot of academic staff, faculty members. It's really an honor for me. So let me start my presentation, which is going to be today about applied linguistic research. Can you see my presentation? Okay, so my presentation live, because from here, from my side, I cannot see whether it's live or not yet. Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah, now I can see. So first of all, I would like, as I mentioned, to thank everyone and good morning once again. So it's such a pleasure to be here with all of you today. When I was preparing this talk, I kept asking usually myself, like, why does language matters so much to us? Why? So the answer is very simple, because language is not just a tool, it's the very thing that connects us as a human being. This is the way, or the way of communication. Without language, we won't be able to communicate with other communities. We won't be able to fly abroad, to go to other countries in order to understand those people. Without language, we won't be able to understand different people, different cultures. So this is the gist of language. So as we mentioned also, language is bridging the gap between linguistic theory, practical solutions for communication and challenges across education, technology, society. So it's a very interesting to know that without the AI nowadays, it would be very difficult for us to keep learning these languages. Imagine 5 years before the AI, ChatGPT, all these things, it was very difficult for us to keep learning from different languages. But nowadays, it's very simple. Just click on an eye, you can learn a few languages in less than 1 year. So, but here's the challenge. Why we use language? So it's not always simple. It's a kind of a tried to how we teach, how we learn, how we build policies, and how we design technologies. Even nowadays, it's very important to know that how we ensure justice through language. Without language, it's very difficult to achieve justice in each kind or each field of our life. So that's where applied linguistics comes in. Applied linguistics is about taking all theories and knowledge we have about language and ask, how can this actually solve real world problems. This is what we call applied linguistics. We applied the linguistic, we applied the languages into solving the real world problems, the real world challenges. Let's move to the next slide. So the field itself, the field of applied linguistics itself, has a fascinating theory and a fascinating history about learning those applied linguistics and how make it true in our real life. So it really began during World War II, when linguists like Leonard Bloomfield and Charles Fries were asked to help train soldiers in foreign languages. So it was urgent and practical and also life-challenging work. Imagine you were asked to train soldiers in foreign languages. For example, you were asked to train soldiers in Arabic language, but you are a Filipino and you don't know Arabic language. So it's really challenging and not easy process. So it was a kind of life-challenging work. And ever since, applied linguistics has kept the same spirit, finding a practical solution for real world needs in order to challenge the real world problems, to find solution to the practical problem we are facing every single day. So, what does this mean? This has a very interesting history, back in the history, about the languages and the process of evolving languages, how the language used to evolve. But today, the scope is very huge. In education, for example, we look at how people learn second language and how teachers can make the process easier and more effective. In policy, in language policy, for example, we help governments make decisions about which languages to use in schools and which language to use in exams, which language to use in academic institutions. In discourse studies, we analyze everyday conversation to understand how communication build with each other, or how to break the relationship between these communication, how to understand the hidden meaning or the pragmatic or semantic meaning behind these words or behind these languages. In multilingual communities, we look at how to support bilingual education and social inclusion. This is very important because without language, you won't be able to do any of these things. So language is not a tool we learn. No, it's actually embedded in our life. Every part of our life involve language, involve a human language. Even sometimes the body, we call it body language. The body language, when you do some kind of gesture, you smile, you get angry, you laugh, this is also language. So the language is not only the language we speak, but everything in our life is a language. Your body gesture is a language. The movement of your body, we call it sign language. Everything is a language. So this is the importance of how language is. And it also in specialized areas like a translation, conference interpretation, or even forensic linguistics, we apply our expertise to diplomacy, local and global communication and justice system. So imagine, for example, in conference interpretation, where you are sitting in a booth to do conference interpretation, and there are so many people in the conference hall waiting for you to translate from language A to language B, from Filipino to English, or from English to Arabic. If you do not know these languages and you master these languages, the whole audience in the conference hall will not understand anything, because those around 1,000 people actually 100% depending on you, on your translation. So this is how important is the language. Okay, next slide. Okay. What are the real examples in our real world? So let me share a few powerful examples of applied linguistics in action. Adult literacy programs informed by research have raised reading skills in undeprived communities by up to 40%. Technology enhanced learning, like for example AI tutors, is now helping millions of learners around the world get personalized feedback, special feedback for every single student, personalized feedback, and something that was impossible a few years ago. And also in the courtroom, forensic linguist has helped solve crimes by analyzing written and spoken evidence. So all these involve human language. So these are the scopes we just explained. The scope, key domains of applied linguistics. We have different key domains. We have the language teaching, assessment and language policy, discourse studies, discourse analysis, which goes under it. Then we have multilingualism and specialized application, like translation, interpretation, legal language, discourse, and forensic linguistic, etc. So the interdisciplinary nature of applied linguistic, meaning that can we use applied linguistic in different areas? Yes, of course. For example, we can mix between applied linguistic and medical science. So in terms of how can we merge this medical field with applied linguistic? So for example, we can have a kind of research, talking about patient-doctor communication, and discourse analysis. So here we are applying the discourse analysis, the applied linguistic part, which is part under applied linguistic discourse analysis, in order to analyze the doctor and patient communication, how they communicate with each other. So this is very interesting, where we can use applied linguistics in multidisciplinary areas. We can use it also in the legal system. We can use applied linguistics in psychology. We can use it in psychiatry. We can use it in social cognition and many other fields. This is how we can do interdisciplinary, or sometimes we call it multidisciplinary, like 3 or 4 fields in one research, or 2 fields in one research. So this is what we call interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary research in applied linguistics. So research in applied linguistics, it used 3 kinds of methods. We have 3 kinds of method or methodologies, whatever we call it. So we have the qualitative approach, quantitative, and mixed method. Mixed method, where we use both a qualitative and the quantitative. So the qualitative usually is a kind of ethnographic studies, detailed discourse analysis, and in-depth case studies that explore language use in nature context, where they can analyze the language because it looks for the quality. So we analyze the discourse, we analyze the language to look at the hidden meaning. This is a qualitative. But what about the quantitative? The quantitative is we look for the numbers, empirical studies, experimental research design, large-scale survey, questionnaire, corpus linguistic that provide statistical evidence and measurement outcomes of language phenomena. This is what we call quantitative, because it looks for quantity. Mixed method, where we can use both qualitative and the quantitative in one research. It's a kind of combining qualitative and quantitative data for a comprehensive insight. For example, using corpus linguistic to analyze language patterns in social media whilst conducting interview with the user. So we check, for example, or we apply what we call a questionnaire, survey, and at the same time, we apply also interview. So influential figures back through, as we mentioned, this is back in the history about the authors or the founders of these methods and practices. We have pattern practice revolution, 1940, and in 1960 we have Noam Chomsky, where he started his theory about the critics and the criticism of behaviorism approaches, which led to broader a kind of a problem-focused research that consider cognitive and social factor in language learning. Recently, we have some advanced research methodologies focusing on the mental space and blending theory. Okay, next, we have the case studies language policy, which we just explained. And also we have here the challenges of the case study. And we have the key research question, where you should ask yourself 3 to 4 questions in order to know whether this is a real problem that you are looking for a solution, or this is not actually a problem. It could be a hypothesis, not a problem. So in order to start your real research, you have to have what we call a real research problem, and you start figuring out this research problem. So this is very practical way. So here we have also the applied linguistic in action, real world impact. As we mentioned, we have the adult literacy program, technology enhanced learning, and forensic application, where we can use applied linguistic on all of these fields. A challenge and the future direction for what we call for applied linguistic. So of course, the future brings in new challenges. We are living in a world of increasing multilingualism, where digital platforms nowadays are reshaping how people communicate, and also at the same time, AI is advancing at lightning speed. And we must be very careful about ethics, making sure our technologies do not carry hidden bias or violate people's privacy. And finally, we need to put social justice at the heart of our work, so that no one is excluded. But of course, because of the language we use and the language we speak, we will be able to figure out the real problem challenges, and we will try to find out solution to word problems. So why does applied linguistics matters? Again, because it reminds us that language is what we call is not just an academic subject. It's a human lifeline. It's about equity, opportunity, and understanding. It's about helping people live better lives. As researchers, educators, language teachers, practitioners, our responsibility is to keep bridging theory and the practice, and make sure that our work continues to teach the real, to touch, and to solve the real world problems. This is what all about. This is what language is all about. So the power of applied linguistics, yes, we have mentioned theory meets practices, interdisciplinary innovation, and the global communication, where continued research promises to enhance communication and understanding worldwide problems, breaking down language barriers, and fostering international cooperation. So the question is now, as we mentioned, language is very important. And why does language matters? Because as we mentioned earlier, language is not an academic subject. It's a human lifeline. Without language, we won't be able to move forward. We won't be able to understand our history back. So, as a researcher, we have to keep looking into solving a problem, solving real world problem, and pushing our student, our kids, our families hand in hand into the future where we all can use languages in a very fascinating way using AI and using artificial intelligence. So that will make sure that our work continues to touch what we call the real world problems. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Al-Aqad.
Yep, my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that insightful and thought-provoking discussion. Your lecture has truly enriched our understanding of how applied linguistic research can help solve real-world challenges. It has opened new perspectives on how we can respond to the challenges and opportunities that diversity brings. And because learning deepens through dialogue, we now move forward to an engaging exchange of ideas. We now proceed to our open forum, moderated by Ms. Jamaica Prado, USEP instructor.
Thank you all for attention so far. We will now have the open forum. This is your chance to ask questions, share insights, or raise any points related to the lecture of Dr. Alakad. Please use the raise hand feature or type your questions in the chat box and we will address them one by one. Okay, let's now begin. Okay. Michelle Torres rather. You are recognized. Again, Miss Michelle Torres, you are recognized. You may now unmute your mic. Oh, okay. Mr. Cacnyo, please open your cam and unmute your mic.
Wait. I'm checking. Is my camera working or something like that? Wait. I don't think my cam is working, but am I audible? Can you hear me, Sir Professor Mohammed?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Here.
Nice. All right. I don't really know if my cam's working, but it's working fine for me when I'm recording. So anyways, we're gonna do this without my cam, I suppose. So I really like your topic, the introduction all about the applied linguistics and you know, um what makes me curious, what intrigues me, makes the colors out of me go brighter, something like that, is AI. Because our world is, evolving so much to the point that we're artificially evolving as well in technology. So AI, artificial intelligences, often struggles with this during when, in machine translations. With this, when they give translations. And, while people in the real world use it, sometimes the machine literally translates, what sentence you're gonna try to translate. And they might miss the real meaning. So um like with increasing role of AI in global communication, we often hear about how these technologies can make understanding across cultures faster and more efficient. But I wonder, should AI be designed primarily to prioritize the efficiency and communication across different cultures, or should it instead focus on respecting and maintaining our cultural distinctiveness, even if that sometimes slows down understanding? Or should there be a balance as to how we should tackle?
Again, could you repeat your question because the voice was not clear?
Okay. So basically, my question is, how can we make sure that AI is like, how can we balance to make sure that AI can be designed to be used as an efficient way to communicate and as a way to respect and maintain our cultural distinctiveness?
Yes, very important and very interesting question.
Right.
You are right. It's very difficult where we can make sure the AI will be enabled to personalize our work. This is nowadays, it's a bit tricky, but in the future, I think it will be possible. However, this also depends on the user himself. If he know the ethics of using such kind of AI platform, or he just try to what we call breach this ethic and using AI in an ethical way. So it depends on the user. This is very important point. The second point, nowadays there are some AI agent, like for example, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an LLM platform, but inside ChatGPT there is an agent where you can use this agent to personalize your life routine, life skills. For example, you could ask this agent to send you daily email about the current news in Philippines. Every single day he will send you emails, personalized emails. What you want to ask him to do, he can do, but not the ChatGPT himself. No, AI platform inside the ChatGPT called a ChatGPT agent. This only available, unfortunately, for the paid subscription, not for the free version. So for the free copy is not available. It's available for the paid copy, where you can pay. You have your annual or monthly subscription. They will give you a button called AI agent, where you can use this agent to personalize your life routine, life skills. For example, every single day, he can remind you about the meeting. He can set your agenda, but you need to give him access to your phone so he can read your meetings and he can suggest you the time. He can remind you 10 or 15 minutes before the meeting. So this is very important where we can use AI to enhance our life process. But there is another important point, which is about security. Whether this AI will be secured enough to save our confidentiality, or are they going to leak all our information to AI generators? This is important. So now we are using the ChatGPT. So it's fine because we are not giving the ChatGPT our personal details. But when you use this kind of AI agent, it will not work with you unless you give him access to your personal files, your contact number, your email. You give him access to your email. So you give him your password and your username, which is very risky. He can set reminds for you. He can set emails. He can send emails and receive email and read the email for you. But at the same point, it could endanger you and put your security at risk, because anytime all your secret information will be leaked. You give him your email, you give him your password, your username, everything. So in a minute, everything could be gone. This is the problem.
Right.
But in the future, we may have some kind of more security. Nowadays, I think that the problem of ethics with AI, it's very broad problem everywhere, and everyone actually complaining about this, about the ethics of AI. Why? Because every single day we have a new AI. Every single day we have a new AI coming up. So in the future, maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, I think all these AI will be put under one umbrella where they can manage all human ethics. So then it will be very safe for us to use. But now unfortunately, it's not safe. You can use it, but do not access to your personal data, personal information, personal photos. These personal things, do not try to access a chat GPT or AI to it. Otherwise, in a minute, you will be in public.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So yeah, so basically we are the agents. We're
Yep.
responsible, right? Right. Okay, okay. I like it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And
That's
as
all for
we,
me.
we as we mentioned before in the previous session, AI actually is the slave and you are the master. You the master, he's the slave. You must tell him what to do and what not to do. But at the same time, you cannot show all your secret to your slave. In any minute he could use it against you.
Hmm. I
Hope
see.
now it's clear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it. I got it. I'm
Yeah.
taking notes.
Okay, thank you
Thank
for
you.
that, Mr. Kaknyo and Dr. Al-Aqad. Who would like to add? Who would like to ask more? Please raise your hand. Okay, we have here Miss Sebastian. You are recognized. Kindly unmute your mic. Thank you.
Good day, Sir Alakad.
Yep. Good
So
day to you.
thank you so much for your presentation on applied linguistic research. So I really like your idea about without using language, we won't really move forward because it's really about solving real world problems with language. We can solve a lot of problems with using language. So my question would be, I was just wondering, how can researchers in applied linguistics as future researchers conduct studies that aim to solve real world problems while being mindful of our own ideologies so that we can avoid bias. So like how can we avoid our own ideologies in our works in applied linguistics. So that's all.
Yeah, that's a very interesting and timely question. How we should avoid our own ideology in applied linguistics or using applied linguistics. This is very interesting. And to do that, you have to do a kind of interdisciplinary research. Not only focusing on applied linguistics, you can use applied linguistics as a tool to penetrate into other fields like medicine, like legal domain, like many other fields. So in such thing, when we use what we call interdisciplinary research, you won't be able to simply apply your ideology because it's totally different field where you are using applied linguistics in legal, where you apply using applied linguistics in the courtroom, you are using applied linguistics in the hospital. So it won't be easy to apply your own ideology and bias with the outcome or with the result of the research. And as I mentioned also, Sebastian, before, the most important in using interdisciplinary research is to have collaborators. You have another team members from different area. Not you are only the sole author who's doing multidisciplinary. No, I do not recommend such thing. But it's very important to have collaborator, to have a team with other, so you can collaborate, you can engage with them. They are from medicine and you are from linguistic. You are from teaching English language or teaching Filipino language. They are from, for example, religions or religious school. So here you can join together in order to do a kind of interdisciplinary research. So it won't be easy for both of you to interfere your research arena with your own ideology. It will be very difficult because totally different merging research area.
Thank you, Sir Alakad, Doctor. Thank you so much for answering. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sebastian. We will accommodate one last question. Okay, we have Faldas. You are now recognized. Please unmute your mic. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Am I audible po?
Hi,
Yes,
Fardas.
you
Okay ba?
are.
Hello, Sir Al-Aqad. Good morning. I was embarked by your statement earlier that language is not just a subject but a human lifeline. And yes, it's true. And it's the understanding of everything we do. And as a student and as a aspiring researcher, in terms of ethical considerations of doing a linguistic research, how do we acknowledge the limitations of using AI? Um, and what do you advise us in consideration of using such AI? Because AI is prevalent and uncontrollable nowadays.
Yep, you're right, exactly. Every single day there are new AI platform, new AI agent are popping up. So AI become like a mushroom. Every day, few coming up. This is very interesting question. Your question is how to to look for the limitation of AI or what again?
Yeah, my question is, in doing such linguistic research, how do we acknowledge the limitation of using AI, and what do you advise us in consideration of using such AI?
Yep, very very interesting question. So how to acknowledge the limitation of using AI? Actually, nowadays the limitation of using AI is very minor. So meaning that everything can be done using AI, almost everything. But the most important, the limitation of using AI. There are some limitations where we cannot use AI for it. For example, in the medical field, you cannot use AI. In the legal field, you cannot use AI. In the courtroom, where there is the judge is giving order, you cannot use AI. So in writing a lawsuit against someone or defending someone in the court, you cannot use AI. So there are some field AI until now is still unapplicable to use. You cannot use it. This is one point. Next point, there are some bias of using AI in the simple domains, like for example, in languages, English language, Arabic language, Filipino language, whatever. There are some mistakes. For example, nowadays you are using AI in Filipino language, which is not legal or not medical or not science, rocket science or something. A very simple language. I'm giving him one or two sentences. I'm asking to translate it. Sometimes he commit mistakes. This is a very simple, but he commit mistake. So this is a very simple language, but he is still committing mistakes. What about if you are using it in a very serious situation where you use AI to translate, for example, a patient report with cancer disease? So it's a very serious, very risky. Any mistake in that report could change the whole life of that patient. If the dangers, for example, if the cancer disease at stage 1 and there is a potential mistake or error in the use of a ChatGPT for into translating or describing this report, he's mentioned instead of stage 1, he mentioned stage 4. So that means the patient is gone. He's going to die tomorrow. So it's a kind of risky. So these are some of the what we call the serious limitation of using AI. And in academia nowadays we are using AI. Everyone start using AI. The student, lecturer, instructors start using AI, but there are some limitation in academia, meaning that you can use AI to paraphrase sentences. You can use AI to enhance the language, to enhance the grammar, but you cannot use AI in writing your literature review. You cannot use AI in writing the finding section or the conclusion section, because this section must be your own idea, not AI platform idea, not the ChatGPT idea. You can ask AI, for example, to give you some notes or some quotes or some references, citations from that research or this research. You can ask him to, you can give him your topic and ask him to give you some related studies where you are looking for literature review. He can suggest you some studies where you can use. Yes, you can use AI for this, but you cannot use AI to write your methodology, which is a very critical section, to write your findings and conclusion. So this is very serious, because any mistake with using AI the whole study will be invalid. Your whole study will be invalid, unfortunately, and will be it's a kind of wasting time. You are doing nothing because the introduction, the abstract, the introduction, literature review, methodology, everything has been written with AI. Everything is fake. Everything is unrealistic. So here is the problem where we should not use AI. But at the same point, we are encouraging our students to use AI for daily conversation, daily communication to enhance English, to enhance their communication, to enhance their speaking, listening. And sometimes, because like we as a lecturers in one of the best universities in Malaysia, so sometimes we urge our students to use AI before submitting their assignment to us. For example, one of the students, he usually submit assignment, but here's a lot of mistakes. So I don't have time as a lecturers. We have about 20 or 30 students. You do not have time to keep correcting simple mistakes. You are looking for the answer that you are looking in order to give the correct marks or the score for the student. But you are not going to waste 2 or 3 hours for one student to correct his simple mistakes. So what we are doing, we are urging the student to start using AI platform, ChatGPT or whatever, to improve their speaking and reading and writing the skills. Always, if you do not know how to write, ask ChatGPT. Give him the sentence and ask him to correct the sentence for you. Is it this correct or not correct? So usually what we do in my previous university, we ask the student to submit their assignment to AI platform, like a ChatGPT or whatever platform, and ask ChatGPT to highlight the mistakes for you. Ask him to correct the mistakes and highlight the mistakes. Not only correct, but correct and highlight. So he can correct and highlight the mistakes for you. After that, you send us the true copies after you correct it. So we won't have a lot of time looking for mistakes because you already corrected, and step by step, the student himself will start learning from AI. Oh, this is the mistake. Oh, okay. Next time I should not write like this. It should be like that. Oh, so is be here, not are. And step by step, the student will start learning by himself using AI platforms. And also we reduce our pressure on working on a simple task for the student. This number one. Number two, the student when he need to submit the final version of the assignment, he must mention in the assignment that I use the ChatGPT in the discrimination. We have this claim note at the end of the assignment. So the student need to mention I use, for example, AI generation in doing correction, or I use AI in enhancing the English language. He need to mention where he used AI and for what purpose. This is very important because this also give honesty to the student and to the lecturer. So the lecturer will be believing and trusting his student because they told me they used AI. They are not cheating me. They are not cheating. They are not sending me a perfect English assignment and they are saying, oh, this is my assignment. Actually, they are ChatGPT or AI platform. No, they are showing the truth. They are saying, yes, we use a ChatGPT to enhance our language. But step by step, they will start learning from that. So this is a kind of mutual trust between both. This is very important, where we allow the student to use AI platforms. I hope, Fadlas, I managed to answer your question.
Yes, sir. That's a very profound answer, sir. And I thank you for that. So
Yeah.
the use of AI is not bad as long as it is used in moderation.
Exactly. And as much as you also disclaim the use of AI in your assignment or in your writing.
Oh, thank you so much, sir Al-Aqad.
Yep, my pleasure. Yeah, you have to disclose it. Disclose the use of it.
Thank you so much to the participants who have addressed their queries. And thank you so much, Dr. Al-Aqad, for answering their questions insightfully. So now I will give the floor back to Ms. Kate Italia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alakad, and thank you as well to our forum facilitator, Ms. Jamaica Prado, for such an engaging and enriching exchange. Before we proceed, let us first present the Certificate of Recognition to our distinguished lecturer in recognition of his invaluable contribution to this fifth Ilmu International Lecture Series. Let me read the citation. University of Southeastern Philippines Certificate of Recognition is presented to Dr. Mohammed H. Al-Aqad of University Malaya, Malaysia for sharing his time and expertise as a resource speaker on the topic Applied Linguistics Research, Solving Real-World Language Challenges during the 5th Ilmu International Lecture Series on Applied Linguistics held on September 26, 2025 via Zoom. Issued on the 26th day of September 2025, USEP Davao City, Philippines. Signed by Associate Professor Sajad Asingilan, AB English Language Program Head and SPJRD Chief Editor. Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Alakad.